Hi everybody, it's Andy Mack, just bringing you a bench update regarding my 15mm Prussian Napoleonic army. Begin to pull everything together now. I'll just talk you through what we've got and take them now. I'm sorry about the lighting. It's actually quite a well lit area here, but because of the white table, it's making everything look very dark. So I think in my nearer finalising presentations of this army, I'll do it on my green cloth, which should bring out all the colours appropriately, and obviously it'll be more of a finished army then as well, so it'll be a better presentation. But going for the time being, it's just, as I say, a bench update, and I can zoom in a bit with for certain things. So what we've got is, this is the second Reserve Prussian Corps under Kleist, I think it's Kleist, at the Battle of Dresden 1813. I've got a piece of paper with things written on, so hopefully I'll be able to work through it quite effectively. So first here, you've got the 9th Infantry Brigade, which is 1, 2, 3 units represented here. You've got the first West Prussian Infantry Regiment, which is 3 battalions, including a Fusilier battalion, which are the ones who I believe were doing I think it's Fusilier anyway, the ones doing skirmishing. So I based them on predominantly on 2-figure bases. I may get movement trays for them going forward, but we'll see. Maybe not. Next to them is the Reserve Infantry Regiment number 6, 3 battalions of, and then next to them we've got the Silesian Landwehr number 7, 4 battalions of. We've got a half battalion of the Silesian Schützen, which is the light infantry battalion. Haven't based them up yet. Incidentally, some of them are half based and some of them are just on cards, so the half-based ones have yet to have all their flock and stuff, and so yes, that's a Schützen, and then attached to them are the 4 squadrons of the Neumark Dragoons. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the 9th Infantry Brigade. They have attached to them also a 6-pounder artillery battery. Okay, in front of them is the 10th Infantry Brigade, which is the West Prussian number 2 Infantry Regiment, again with the Fusilier battalion. Next to them is the Reserve Infantry Regiment number 7, 3 battalions. And next to them again is 4 battalions of the Silesian Landwehr number 9, and again they have a 6-pounder infantry battalion, 6-pounder artillery battery attached to them. Moving down the list is the Purchase 11th Infantry Brigade. They have the 1st Silesian Infantry Regiment number 1. Obviously number 1, including, so that's 3 battalions. 3 battalions of the Reserve Infantry Regiment number 10. 4 battalions of the Landwehr number 8 Infantry Regiment, and again you've got the other half of the Schützen Light Infantry Battalion. Next to them you have the 1st Silesian Hussars. That should be 4, that's only 2 at the moment, squadrons, but it should be 4, an oversight on my part. So I'll have to order, there's 4 other Hussar squadrons that I need to order as well, so I'll have to order a further 6 Hussar squadrons. So that's the 11th Infantry Brigade under Perch. Then we've got the 12th Infantry Brigade. They also have a 6-pounder artillery battery attached to them. Then we've got the 12th Infantry Brigade under Prussian, is it? I may be wrong on the name there. Prussian, I thought it just means Prussian, but anyway, Prussian, I'll check that in the future. Again, they've got attached 6-pounder infantry battalion, 6-pounder artillery battery. they have the Silesian Infantry Regiment number 2, which is including obviously a Fusilier battalion, 3 battalions, the 11th Reserve Infantry Regiment, the 10th Infantry Regiment, Landwehr Infantry Regiment, and number 13 Battery. Also attached to them are 4 squadrons of Landwehr Cavalry. So these are yet to be based, and they need a bit of touch up because I put some. Where's a piece of paper or something I can use? Well, I'm not very well prepared this time, am I? What can I use? I tried a plate before and that didn't work, but it was too shiny. Perhaps this tray. Whoop. Perhaps this tray. Maybe this will work. Maybe not. Yeah. So I got to just touch up their flags. I put some glue on it just to firm up the flags. So I'll just touch them up. But the Landwehr Infantry Regiment, so they were kind of like Lancers, although I don't think they were very at this 1813. I don't think they were very well trained Lancers, but they did fight well in some instances, and obviously I think the lance has a certain psychological effect as well. So that's the 4 squadrons of Silesian Landwehr Cavalry. Then, so that's the infantry batteries. Infantry brigades. Behind them, I've got at the moment I've got 3 artillery limber teams. I'm getting a further 3 are on the way, and then I may do a few more as well. But so that should give me a limber team for each of the field infantry brigades, artillery batteries, plus 2 limber teams for the horse artillery. So added to the 4 infantry artillery batteries, we've got 2 horse artillery batteries. So just for sake for time being are these 2 here. I have actually got artillery figures coming that are apparently representative of Prussian horse artillery staff, but I think they're very similar in dress anyway to the foot artillery staff. So we will see on that. But yeah, I think the only thing is I can't actually. It's been a little while now, and I can't actually remember if I did actually order them or not. I think I did, so I'm hoping they'll arrive soon. But I had a look the other day and I couldn't find an invoice on my emails to see that it's actually been sent or accepted, so I'll have to double check things. But I can use just standard foot artillery staff for the horse artillery teams. I don't think there's much at this scale, much to change. Then you've got two further artillery batteries of 12-pounders. Then you have 5 reserve 6-pounders. 12-pounders are reserves, part of the reserve artillery part. Then you've got 5 6-pounder batteries, and then 1 howitzer battery. Interestingly, I think in my last video I spoke about how I was going to intermix howitzers with each of the foot batteries, and I was going to do it because I'd had too many howitzers delivered with the Prussian order for artillery. But as it turns out, having read around it, it would seem that the Prussians didn't actually have howitzers as part of the standard artillery battery. They had separate howitzer batteries in 1813. So as I'm not too bothered either way, really, to be fair. An artillery battery at this scale is an artillery battery, and it's not going to make a lot of difference. Obviously you can alter things as long as it represents an artillery battery. I'm not too bothered. The other point is these guns are actually quite big to scale. 6-pounder guns were probably a little bit smaller than what these are represented by. Interestingly, the other figure manufacturer I use are Lancashire Games, and their 6-pounders are significantly smaller. I'll just put that next to the. Sorry, I'll get a different one. The 6-pounder, their 6-pounders are significantly smaller. So, but I actually do quite like them. I think they do look quite good. But the here is the. I think these are actually considered 8-pounders. And these are 6-pounders, but So what I may do is for the limber teams, I may, when I want to represent them limbered, I may actually use the Lancashire Games scale artillery piece as opposed to, and then just keep the larger warrior batteries for once they're already deployed. Anyway, it's just all food for thought, but the first thing I'll do is get them all painted up and done, and then I can tinker how I want to represent them on the battlefield. So that's the artillery part. Then we've got reserve artillery. We've got Uhlans here. Now you may remember that the Lancers that I got in my order last time had the Polish style headpiece, which for Lancers, Uhlans, I understand they weren't introduced until, well, wholesale until 1815. So being an 1813 army, I had to make some sort of changes or accept the fact that the Lancers were a little bit out of date. So I've still got plenty of Lancers to paint up, which I can use, and I probably will do in the fullness of time. But I've just toyed with putting some not milliput, what's it called, green stuff on to make shako covers. I filed the headpieces down a little bit more to a sort of shako shape, and then I've just used green stuff to make shako covers. So once they're painted up, they will look perfectly good as shako covers. So the Lancers will be in keeping with the period. So that's Uhlans. So it's 4 squadrons of Uhlans, and then I've got the Silesian Cuirassier Regiment, 4 squadrons of that. And then I've got 4 squadrons of Brandenburg Cuirassier Regiments. Sorry about the lighting again. 4 squadrons of the Brandenburg Cuirassier Regiment. I haven't put flags on either yet. I've got them to put on, but I haven't put them on. And then 4 squadrons of the, I think it's the East Prussian, excuse me, East Prussian Cuirassier Regiment. Then we've got 2 squadrons of Landwehr, sorry, two units of 4 squadrons of Silesian Landwehr cavalry, which is here and here. Once again, same as before. Just what the customary drop figure. These haven't been painted either, so yeah, I'll do the customary touch up before once I'm part of the basing. I usually just go over them with a bit of black and a bit of brown. Just touch up bit areas. And sometimes get a little bit of hand rub. I see I put you can see shining on the Lancers. Well, I put a bit of glue on there just to toughen them up a bit, because 15mm well, muskets and Lancers with some manufacturers are a little bit soft, and they all can either bend too much, or I mean, I don't mind a bit of bending. I think it comes part and parcel of figures at this scale, and them being lead or pewter or whatever they are. But obviously it can look a bit ridiculous, and they can snap as well. So a bit of glue can toughen them up. I mean, I've done that, so I'll touch them up as well. Behind them is the 2nd Silesian Hussar Regiment. There is just 2 squadrons for that one, so that's part of the Reserve Cavalry division as well. And that's it basically. Behind it, again, is the remember I think in an earlier video I presented a purchase from Timecast, the church. I painted up. Now it's got brickwork. I painted it all yellow. It's actually got brickwork. So, but at this scale, I thought I'll just paint it this yellow, and it goes quite nicely with red. It is very German looking, that sort of yellow and red colour. Perhaps a little bit bright, but I just couldn't. I didn't think it was worth faffing around with each individual brick, or painting the bricks separate from other. I think it just looks appropriate like that. And once it's on the table, it will look very good. Now, in terms of my schedules, I'm hoping to do another big battle. That season will be starting sort of in probably like 4 to 6 weeks' time, and that is also the sort of time frame I'm hoping to get this army completed. So you've got generals also at the back there, which are yet to be painted up and all sort of thing. So yeah, I'm going to hopefully mid-May This will be nearly all completed. Another, for all my armies actually, I want to make it a little bit more realistic in terms of all the detritus that goes with armies, the tents, the carts, caissons, hospitals, so that the roads can get congested, and part of the headache of manoeuvre is also how you get to and from the battlefield with things like artillery, limbers, where you put your reserves, where you put your reserve artillery. Do they get in the way when you want to move things about? So that sort of that's what I want. I have to say, with the amount of artillery I've got this army, I don't think I'm ever actually going to be using all the artillery in any set battle, because it would take quite a considerable space needed for it. But maybe, you never know, it might do. It would be also able to do campaigns. But it was one of those things where I was doing quite a big army, and I thought, well, I got to a point where I thought, well, I was just going to do 2 reserve batteries for the reserve, the artillery park. But I thought, well, I've come this far, let's just do the whole damn lot. In terms of limbers, a bit of a sore point with me. I do get quite annoyed how much the cost of limbers add to your armies. And I do think it's very sad when armies don't include limbers. So I do think it's a big feature. Their footprint on the battle would have been significant. And it is quite fun, getting your guns. Do you get then to the point where you want to unlimber them in time? Do you manage to limber them up and get them away from danger that's beginning to come about? So all these things is quite significant and interesting. I say at this scale that the rules I use is one limber to 2 actual guns. So it's quite a lot of artillery. Whether it's a bit too much, I don't know. And certainly when you're doing big armies, it's quite a significant extra investment with all the artillery guns. But once it's all laid out, and it should add quite a lot of spectacle to the battles and to the army. So that's what I wanted, and I'm very pleased that I've decided to embark that way. So what we need to do is need to buy the extra 6 extra squadrons of. There's also, a hussar, 4 squadrons of hussar missing from the reserve artillery division. So we need 2 extra squadrons for the 1st Silesian Hussars. Then we've got the 4 squadrons from, I can't remember the name of the Hussar regiment is, but for the reserve artillery, we got some more artillery staff to paint up just to finish off the reserve artillery park and horse artilleries. Incidentally, these ones are all on card. They are almost finished. There's not much more painting needing doing on them really. I'll touch them up and put that. I think I've got to do some of the chroming of swords and things like that for the officers. Sort the barrels out. Base up, finish the basing, and finish up the basing really, and obviously touch up the lances. So all in all, there's actually quite a lot of stuff left to do on it, but as you can see, it's taking shape. So anyway, I hope things are going well for you, and say here in England we are getting a bit more freedom now, for the time being anyway, and so it's quite enjoyed. Let's hope the weather warms up. It's been quite cold. But yeah, I'm hoping that my work rate will improve now, and my circumstances change. I'm no longer having to care for my mother. She's now back in Somerset, so which is good news for everybody, and which means the room that we were using for my mother to be looked after in is now my wargaming room again, so I can get back in there and paint my man cave, whatever, and paint away at every moment of downtime I might have. So whereas before I had to sort of set up when everyone had gone to bed, so it's sort of quite handy. So anyway, I hope all's going well. As I do, just on putting up videos, I do watch an awful lot of them. I generally prefer the ones that are project based, so where someone will feature and talk about one particular project, updating and talking about their decisions around it, their army and all that kind of thing, as opposed to the magazine style YouTube video. I watch less of it. I do have some I watch and I do very much enjoy, but generally speaking, I prefer the sort of project format where someone just talks about what they're doing, what they plan to do for a particular army they might be doing, and the same for books around those sort of projects and their thought processes and how they want to move forward with their plans. Okay, so yeah, I've talked enough. Thanks very much, Annie Mac. Wishing you fond farewell. Annie Mac out.